And good morning, welcome. It's Monday. We're back, and looks like we've got a great weather week here, warming up quite a bit.
How was your drive?
It was not great.
No, both ways?
No, there was fine. Coming back, it was, I mean, you know what, actually, there, when I say fine, we were fine. But there was a car, you know what, it was an Accord, and it passed us, and my wife says, oh, I don't know. And then as the ice rain started to freeze up the windshield, like moments later, I thought, oh boy, this isn't going to work out too well.
So you went to Vancouver?
Sure enough, there was somebody in the ditch.
Friday evening and came back last night?
Yeah. Got home around 10 o'clock, 10:30 last night. You know, it's neat traveling with a group because the people that were sort of in the lead would report back where there were dangerous conditions and made it a lot safer. Yeah.
All right, let's get at it.
All right. Well, as the Bank of Canada gears up to announce its next interest rate decision on Wednesday, everybody is going to be eyes wide open to see if there's any clues as to when it might start cutting rates.
Yeah, I don't expect them to do anything in this meeting. I don't think the economists expect that either. But we do expect a steady decline in inflation and a slowing of the economy, which means that they should pivot and start going down. There's as many as 7 interest rate cuts expected in the U.S. Canada would just follow that. But over the last year, our economy has stagnated as borrowing costs have weighed on businesses and customers. The weaker growth has translated into a less frothy market and fewer job vacancies, and we see layoff all the time, and higher unemployment rates. And then it's just the pullback in spending. I think a lot of people have a lot less to spend too. I think people are cutting back on non-essentials and that, and some of those non-essentials is sometimes even their choice of food, right? The Bank of Canada keeps chasing that 2% rate, and they expect that inflation to come back into that in 2025, but let's hope it's sooner.
And Canada is to stabilize growth and decrease the number of new international student permits issued to approximately 360,000 for 2024.
There's a big uproar, especially out of Quebec, saying they've had enough. And then, of course, Quebec says something, and then all of a sudden they start to listen. Right? Imagine that. We're working on this story, so we'll get you more details on this story as we go through. It just came out this morning here. So they're looking to cut student permits by 35% from 2023. They got to do something because rents have gone through the roof. Everything is just crazy. So,
well, nearly a century after the mass agricultural disaster known as the Dirty 30s, drought conditions on the prairies are once again raising the risk that farmers' valuable topsoil will be going in the wind.
And nobody likes that. If it's dry, and then especially in the prairies, and the wind starts going, it just blows away your topsoil, right? So,
and it causes whitecaps on your toilet bowl some days too, even at least ripples.
So severe erosion events have been increasing in frequency and severity in recent years. In Lethbridge County, dry and windy conditions have been known to stir up dust clouds. Lethbridge is a place of wind for sure, right? If you've been to Lethbridge, I think all the trees lean one way.
People in Vancouver who are relying on bus or the C-Bus for their morning commute today and tomorrow are going to be facing picket lines after weekend negotiations between transit supervisors and Coast Mountain Bus Company failed to make a deal.
I noticed on X that Lyft and Uber rides are increasing as well because it's based on supply and demand, and so that's caused those rates to go up too because as people scramble to find alternative ways to get to work in their morning commute.
And we were just there in North Van, and there is a ton of snow still on the sidewalks that are uncleared. So it's just
picket lines will be up all around the city after the company and roughly 180 transit supervisors, represented by the Canadian Union of Public Employees, Local 4,500, couldn't come to a deal. They're asking for quite a bit. They're asking for 25% over, I think it's 3 years, and they're just nowhere close to getting something done. So hopefully they find a way so that people can get to work.
It'd be nice if everybody could just get a 25-point bump.
It seems like a lot.
It does, although the cost of living has gone up quite a bit. So, yeah. The BC Ministry of Forests are set to conduct aerial spray treatments across the province to eradicate spongy moths this spring.
The sprayings will take place in several different municipalities, including 80 hectares in Kamloops, 52 hectares in West Kelowna. Spongy moths are an invasive species and pose a risk to forests, farms, orchards, and trees. The moths, caterpillars, feed on tree leaves and in recent years have defoliated sections of the forest and residentials in Ontario and eastern United States. 4A, 48B only affects the stomachs of the moth and butterfly caterpillars and specific to their digestive system, and treatment has been approved in Canada since 1961. So if the moths are left untreated, the risk spread to other parts of the province is higher. So I don't know, I hope they're right on that it only affects the moths, right? Because we've seen that before. Whoops.
Yeah, well, it's been around since the 60s, they're saying. So, yeah, fingers crossed, eh? Callamore Regional Park in West Kelowna will be the site of an important fuel mitigation work starting today. Crews are contracted by the RDCO, and they'll be in the park on weekdays for about the next 4 weeks.
Finally, we're starting to hear more and more about fuel mitigation work and then doing it in the off season, because we sure know that we need to do some mitigation work and get the fuel away from the homes, right?
Yeah,
so,
this is good.
it's good to see that we're starting to see some of that. So this is funded by a grant from the Union of BC Municipalities and part of an 8.7 hectare fuel reduction project. We need more than just project. We need like a full scale, like commitment and drive to deal with
like a strategy, right?
Yeah, like not just like, hey, here's a project. Let's deal with this.
Well, the Calgary Flames have granted Dylan DuBret an indefinite leave from the team while he attends to his mental health.
Dylan DuBret, a former Kelowna Rocket, is under the care of health professionals, and they ask that his request for privacy be respected. 25-year-old Dylan is from Golden, BC, and captained Team Canada to a gold medal victory in the 2018 World Juniors. There you go.
And Elevation Outdoors is bringing 10 exciting films to Metro Hub in Kelowna's Cultural District, part of the 5th Annual Wild and Scenic Film Festival presented by Ising Construction Solutions.
Goes down Friday, January 26th, with doors opening at 6 p.m. and films starting at 7. Tickets are $35 if you want to attend. Then there's an option to spend $20 to get access to all 10 films online and watch in your own time between January 26th and 30. There you go. If the event doesn't sell out, there'll be tickets at the door.
All right. And let's check the 5 things files. Topping the stories.
Sadly, a couple of Navy SEALs die in anti-Houthi operation. And then, and there's that we talked about, the Fed's announcing a temporary cap on foreign students. You can go there. And pandemic dogs are more likely to show problem behaviors, because I think probably a lot of people got dogs and pets and then didn't care for them or look
weren't able to, follow through for.
Pet's a big commitment. I've had many of them. And then Elon Musk has been to Auschwitz. And cops recovered dozens of stolen cars by gangs. So a lot of these vehicles are ending up in like Africa.
Oh,
like one guy put his AirTag in the car. I traced his to Dubai, I think. So crazy. Like so many vehicles being stolen. And other news on the weekend that happened for sure, bigger news out of the U.S. is Ron DeSantis stepped out of the race, leaving only 2 contenders left in the Republican Party. That's Nikki Haley and Donald Trump. I think some of the media is starting to have a meltdown. And it's looking like it's going to be a Donald Trump on the Republican side, and lots of talk on the Democratic side that it might not be Joe Biden. We'll see. And
I'm guessing if Trump does make it to become the candidate, it won't be Pence as the running mate. It'll be somebody else.
He said he's already got his person picked. I don't know. Okay. There's lots of talk. Lots of stuff on the old X this weekend, too, relating to the UFC. So you can go watch that yourself. Believe that with you. There's a lot going on in the UFC. A lot of outspoken. I mean, that's kind of what they do, right? There are lots of showmen and stuff like that, but quite outspoken.
And Joe Rogan has made some comments recently,
Joe Rogan
too.
Definitely got in. Well, Joe Rogan's heavily involved in the UFC.
Yeah,
so, 2024 is shaping up to be an interesting year.
Buckle up.
I think half the world's population will be going to polls this year. So that's a lot of people going to the polls, and we're starting to see 2024 could be a big year for sure. Okay.
Kelowna weather for ATB Wealth. Realize your vision of wealth at atb.com/wealth Kelowna, expecting wet snow and rain today. Mostly rain, though. I think it'll be with highs in around 3 and overnight low down to 1. So whatever wet snow hits the ground, it'll be becoming wet on the ground anyways. And as you can see, quite a foggy, cloudy morning as we get things going here today. And then we'll take a look around the roads, pretty much as you'd expect. There you are at the Coquihalla. This is
Yikes.
Yeah, that's heading to Calgary, and actually that's Calgary there.
Be safe.
Anyway,
safe.
all the roads up high are going to be like that, and Big White. If you're heading there, well, it's going to be fantastic.
Snow and more snow.
More and more and more snow. And as we look out for the 5-day weather forecast, things stay nice and mild here. Rain showers in 5 for tomorrow, 3, 4, 2, like so, hardly even down below 0 for the next 4 or 5 days. We even have a little bit of sun in the forecast for Thursday.
Beautiful. That looks awesome. Mm-hmm. Be careful out there. I noticed on my driveway this morning, super icy as I started walking towards my car. I started sliding back down. So I had to salt my driveway before I could actually get out of there. Luckily, I noticed that before I started driving the car. And but lots of places, especially if you're in the upper level, like Kettle Valley or wherever, you're going to find that as it melted during the day, it'll ice up at night, and that'll probably hold true for most of this week.
I'd say so.
As we see that snow melting and run into the roadway from the curbs and that at night it likely will freeze up. So good boots or good traction on your sole or salting your areas makes a lot of sense.
Indeed.
I think that's it. That's all we have for right now. We did do a really good live stream on Friday with 2 representatives from Fortis. Lots of good information shared there, so I recommend you go and watch that one. Until 4 p.m.
Until 4 p.m.
Have a great
night.
Like
and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. Yeah, do all those things. Until then, though, stay safe.